Are civil liberties and law and order naturally at odds? Or is there a middle ground that you have found and that you suggest?
I wouldn't call it a middle ground. First of all, I don't think they are at odds. I think that what happened after 9/11 is that civil libertarians and law enforcement individuals, national security officials were pushed into separate camps. And that this is one of the more unfortunate things that happened. That one of the things I've tried to do for the past 13 years is to bring together people with a whole bunch of different biases, understandings of the world, values, priorities, and you'd be shocked at how much they actually can overlap with one another. Civil libertarians need to understand and take national security as a real thing, and I think some of them do. And that's important, that national security is important, that there is a threat out there, that it's a developing threat and an evolving threat. And I think that national security officials need not to get so defensive about what they're doing, but before they do it, to sit down and talk it through. And there have been a number of public officials who have tried to do that and who have been working their way towards a more constitutionally accepted model of doing things, even by the end of the Bush administration. The problem is just how divided these communities got so quickly, so fast. And so a lot of what has to go on is a sort of knitting together of understanding. We all want to be safe, we all want our children to be safe, but we do really have to share some principles of understanding, and we're not completely there yet. And that's the challenge of the future, is to make sure that there's more joint understanding. Having said that, I think the tension between national security and civil liberties, human rights, is essential and is important. And while you don't want people in completely separate camps so that they don't talk to each other and understand where they overlap in interests, you want the tension. You want civil libertarians to have their eyes open and to be aware all the time of what the missteps can be. You have to. And you need national security people to be thinking outside of the box, however they want to think, but then to understand at the end of the day, these two things have to come together. And as we've seen, as we've discussed, some of them, they do come together. And that's the way to proceed, is to keep this tension, to keep it intact, and to try to minimize the idea that these two communities are at some kind of impenetrable loggerheads with one another.